Hey guys, this is Camper 15, joined by my co-host the Red Wolf, and we are back at it with another Dragon Quest Adventure of Die review. Again, sorry for this being late, or being uploaded to YouTube late Friday night. I had some things I had to take care of. One, I had to get me food at a very ungodly hour, and then two, uh, personal card issues got in the way of that. But regardless, we are here to talk about this week's Dragon Quest episode. It was another good episode of Dragon Quest, and next week seems like it's gonna be that animation time where the animation looks on spot. But we're not talking about next week. We're talking about this week, and essentially, it's kind of the build up to obviously the fight with Dai and He Nickel. But anyways, this is when we get a nice little training montage. Mom getting into the psyche of E-Nickel and trying to tell him what's right and what's wrong. And it also seems like the Dark Legion, or the entire Dark Hylar's forces, don't like E-Nickel as much as we thought they did. But yeah, let's get into it. Anyways, after the episode kind of starts off in the Undead Legion's territory, and essentially one of Nickel's little henchmen say that Hydra is essentially sending a message to him saying that Hadlar is going to be coming to the Undead Legion's base. And I'm like, oh, well then why doesn't Hadlar just find Dai and just kill him right now?
If he's not his strongest just yet.
I guess so. Now, speaking of Dai and Pop, we do cut over to them, and we find out the guy who eventually saved them from last week was named Bad Luck, and he's a swordsman for Princess Leona. And obviously that gets Dai happy, and Dai is like, is she okay? And stuff like that. And he's like, well, I don't know where her whereabouts are, but, you know, she's okay, she's good. Yeah. We can even bring more. Sorry. Go ahead.
I swear, if they actually killed her off, I would have tossed my phone.
Well, with the way He Nickel is, I don't think he would have killed her. But anyways, he does go on to say, she says, Bad Luck says to Dai that she said to essentially the kingdom of, like, listen, do not give up. Dai will come. He'll come and save us, and he'll be here because I know he's the hero, yada, yada, yada. So, obviously, she has that belief in him. I think that kind of suggests that Dai's going to have a girlfriend by the end of the show.
Or they're just going to be like every Shonen Jump character where like they're being so dense and they don't get together with the main love interest.
Well, Dai doesn't seem as dense. Like, last week they did bring up the fact that he might have feelings for Leona, so he might not be as dense as is. And plus today he kind of, and in today's episode he kind of gave a hint to Poppy. He's like, oh, so you put mom before me. Man, I just love the shipping stuff here. Speaking of shipping, I'm not saying I ship He Nickel and Mom, but definitely they were hinting at that.
I guess so. They do kind of have their moment thing here.
Okay. Anyways, Bad Luck tells Dai, like, because Dai and Pop eventually ask, like, do you know where her direct location's at? And he's like, yeah, when the Undead Legion attacked us, we all got separated essentially, and I ended up on my own. So I currently don't know where she's at. But what I do know is she's with the 3 strongest, mages in Pavnika, and they're obviously doing their job to protect her. So I'm guessing the next mission after this is alongside, saving the day, finding Princess Leona wherever her whereabouts are at after we're done with this stuff. Now, this is when we cut over to the Undead Legion base, and we see Hadlar Zabarera. Yes, that old fart. Essentially enter into the territory, and essentially they talk to He Nickel, and essentially they're saying, well, one, if he did his job and stuff like that. It's like Hadlar came for, like, I guess questioning from He Nickel, like what he did to die and stuff like that, and essentially is like, don't worry about it. I'll take care of him when the time comes and stuff like that. Now, after when Hineko Lee starts to walk away, well, actually, first things first, Hadlar actually asks about where's Crocodile, and Hineko lies about it. He's like, I don't know.
It's Crocodile, man. Crocodile.
Crocodile, whatever. So when he said that, do you think there's a possible? Well, I think he's hiding him somewhere, trying to re-heal him, but could there be a possibility that he might be dead as well, and he's just hiding it from Hadlar?
I think he's just dead. I think Crocodile is just dead at this point.
That could be a possibility, unless we get another Crocodile shows up out of nowhere.
Not after that.
Yeah. And then when he walks away, he's kind of monologuing to himself, saying, like, to Hadlar, like, you know, one, it seems like he hates Hadlar too because he blames him for the death of his father. And I'm guessing he's implying he wants to eventually take him down, I guess. Because that's what he said. He's like, I'll show you what real power I have and stuff like that. So, do you think, you know, these Legion commanders are eventually going to try to turn against Hadlar? Because he's already failed once, and they're probably seeing this way of like, well, you failed once, why should you be given a second chance?
I'd say only Hinako is gonna betray everybody. He'll probably try to take down all the 6 Legion commanders and then Hadlar himself.
That could be a possibility. That's if, well, you know, if they let him escape after next week, which I could see them doing that, where he just kind of goes on his own and he tries to take him down himself. Don't know why my stupid dog is barking. Probably because my dad came back. Yeah, so that's the thing that's interesting. Now, we get a backstory here with Hadlar and Vern, and essentially we find out that Hadlar at first didn't want Hineko to be a Legion commander because he's obviously human and stuff like that. And essentially Vern's kind of doubles down on the fact that he wants Hineko to be his Legion commander for the Undead Legion, from the fact of saying that if he were to essentially like kick the bucket or something to his power happens, the Undead Legion would be in shambles. So I'm guessing he mostly controls the Undead, essentially, here, from what I get. And he's like, Hineko is essentially the perfect candidate to be the Undead Legion because his eyes are essentially filled with rage and anger and all that stuff, hatred, you know, and things like that. And he also kind of, I guess you can say, shit talks Hadlar because he's like, he's made to kill Yvonne, which you didn't do at this current point in time. So, shots taken.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Now, we cut after that whole thing. We cut over back to Diane Pop, and we find out that Pop is actually training to get stronger. So, he's actually want to take the initiative because he wants to save his girlfriend. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Speaking of Mom, did you want to talk about what happened in that conversation between Mom and Hineko?
Well, Hineko visited Mom in her cell, and she pretty much felt bad for Hineko because she was all saying like his father was a good man, all that stuff, and and she's saying like, you're at least put it on.
No, you can go.
Anyways, she basically said like, your father wouldn't want you doing this stuff and all that stuff, and Hinako just didn't want to listen and all that stuff.
Yeah, to the point, he kind of goes against his code and he actually slaps her, from what I'm guessing.
Well, he would slap a woman, but he wouldn't kill her.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing at least. So either or, it works in his favor. So yeah. Now Zabarera actually shows up and later that he's like, you really do care about that woman, don't you, Hinako? And he's kind of antagonizing him. Thank goodness Hinako kind of didn't mess with his BS, and he kind of almost literally killed him right there. And essentially he's like, leave me the hell alone. That's what essentially he said. But Mom's words did get to him a bit, and he even says like, I can't refute her points of what she said, which is pretty interesting. Which again, like I said, could you consider that a nice little shipping moment between the two? I don't know. It's up to you.
Comment down below if you think so.
Yeah, if you like that ship, I guess. But I'm still a Pop Mom shipper. But I was like, oh, this is getting very spicy here.
I wouldn't say that, but whatever. What's your vote, buddy?
Well, at least you can see that, you know, Hinako has some empathy for Mom. I guess you can say that. So that's a good thing. But yeah, anyways, after that is happening, we find out that the training that they're going to do for essentially in their way to beat Hinako is they're going to do an electric type spell because it will affect his armor. And essentially the spell is called Zapple. And essentially by Pop using this other spell, Ria Clemente, which makes clouds and stuff like that. And by using Dai and his magic, they can create an electric type spell together. Honestly, like a fusion spell, which is pretty cool. And you see them do it for like half a day, and then they finally get it down. So they're like, okay, we're ready to confront him and stuff like that. They eventually go down to the Undead Legion's base, which I found hilarious, the fact that the old man was trying to come with them. But they're like, no, you stay here. Watch our backs. Which was funny. So, yeah, that. Now, what happens is we also find out that Goma-chan was actually where his whereabouts were. He just didn't disappear or, get lost on his own. He was with Mom the entire time.
Yeah, he just went after her when she got locked up.
Yeah, he gets a kiss from her, which I would die to have. Ow! But anyways, nice Love Chinubio and Other Delusions reference there, guys. Love that show. You should watch that show.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Again, but anyway, Mom tells Goma-chan to get the weapons back. She gets the weapons, and then she's crawling through this tight little space, which eventually leads her to this treasure chest that is very shiny. But obviously, if you watch the next episode preview, it seems like it's gonna have some importance to Hinako. Now, speaking of Hinako, Dai and Pop are actually led by the monsters where Hineko's at, which is this Coliseum, and because at first they were figuring like we can't use the spell we want to use if we're underground. They found out they take him to this Coliseum that is able to have the sky around. So you get this nice little scuffle of fight between Hinako and Dai, as well as Pop getting in the mix. And then you kind of have Pop kind of stand aside like he's doing a spirit bomb, but he's doing the spell he's doing the setup for Dai. Now the thing is, they were trying to set up Hineko to pull out his sword and stuff like that, because Hineko's like, I'm not pulling out my sword. I'm just gonna, mess around with you or toy with you, as how they said. And essentially, it comes to a point where Dai is eventually reading his moves better, and he's like, I guess I'll have to use my sword. So that's when they get into position, they do the spell, they do Zapple, and it seems like it has taken an effect on Hineko, because he's, on his knees, essentially. And that's where the episode ends off, and next week, I'm guessing we're going to see the conclusion. And maybe it looks like Dai is going to lose his mind again.
Yep. Oh
because if you saw his eyes in the next episode preview, if you watched that, I know I'm spoiling stuff, so if you don't want to hear it, I guess goodbye and click off the video. We'll see you guys next week. But his eyes are faded for some odd reason, like faded, like the look where it's like he has no conscience of what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But
has that ever?
No, I don't think that's happened in this series yet. The only thing we know is sometimes we just activate his Dragon Crest, whenever in a time of need. But I don't know about this, I guess no pupil self type of thing. But okay, it seems to be interesting. Like I said, what I saw from the next episode preview, it seemed like the animation is going to be dope again, like it always has been this season. But yeah. Going into winter anime, this is going to be one of the few fall animes that are heading into winter anime, because if not, every fall anime has already ended by now. If not, this is either the final weekend or even today, a few animes that started off in the fall anime are ending now. But Adventure of Dai is continuing. I don't know how many episodes this season is going to have, or this show's going to have, but it's still good. I'll take it. But like I said, I am gonna miss some of the other fall animes that were out, like Tonikawa, Danmachi, yada yada yada. Anyways, this was a good episode. We dove a little bit more into the psyche of Hineko, how he's kind of made a Legion commander, and then we get a nice little training montage, new spell, and it seems like next episode's gonna be a blast. Anyways, guys, we're gonna get out of here. So if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode, as well. I guess your thoughts on Hineko X Mom, if you're into that, okay? As well as hit that subscribe button if you want more Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai content. So till then, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Obviously, my friend here is on borrowed time, and he's got to get to bed. But we're gonna get out of here. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your night or day or whenever you check out the video. Until then, guys, stay safe up there. Have a great rest of your evening. Peace.